in it. And if we are looking for non-revenue water management, we are speaking about something that goes between hourly to minutes, 15 minutes data. And if we are going to DMA management, then we are speaking about nearly real-time data to be efficient. The kind of data that we might need for each case is, for billing occasionally is last index and basic alarms, like leakage and so on. Billing and customer service improvements, we are speaking about daily index and some advanced alarms, like if he had some peak use or abnormal use of volumes of water. If we're speaking about asset management, let's go through 24 hours index and consumption profile. It means we understand how the water has been consumed, so I know if the device has been used in a normal or abnormal way. If we're speaking about non-revenue water management, let's speak about 15 minutes meter index, plus the comparison between night and day. And finally, for DMA management, we are recommending 1 minute frequency index and some advanced alarms like peak flows, meter stopped, and so on. Well, I don't have much more to say, and I hope I am on time. That's okay. If there are some questions, I believe it's at the end, right?
Thank you very much. But we'll take the questions after we complete the session, so okay. Please, anyone has some
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our second speaker actually is Mr. Bambos. Welcome, Bambos. Bambos' experience is mainly about or over than 35 years in water-related field. He has several projects in Africa, South Asia, and the Middle East. He has wide experience in water distribution network and management, including non-revenue water and water loss management. Particularly, in particular, is water audit and data validation and strategies, leakage assessment, and all of this. From 1995 up to 2012, he had the technical services of the Water Board of Limassol, which is the public water utility in Cyprus. Currently, or since 2012, he is a non-revenue water utility specialist working across the borders. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. I would refer to non-revenue water as being the cornerstone in delivering efficient and effective water services. And in fact, I'm going to touch upon some points as to why, we don't reach that level of service that, we desire, and what could be the steps in the right direction. What we usually do, it's business as usual. That's, and it's in the nature of a utility. Every day we do the same thing because we have to deliver the water that we have to the customers, or the water that is available to us. However, we tend to neglect one essential aspect, and that is the maintenance of our network, either because it's not very major what it has to be done, or because we don't have the capacity or the capability to respond immediately. You can see here some obvious things, however, they've been around, for some time in these particular cases that we see, in the pictures. Furthermore, we see in terms of our metering, the business as usual, leaky connections at the meters which are buried in walls, meters without covers, and meter chambers which are really used, as trash cans, to throw in our bottles, etc. Similarly, with our large infrastructure, pipes, valves, we do see these things. They are obvious, they are there, we can see them, but somehow we are not responding immediately, or if we are responding, it's a kind of a non-effective measure, as we can see with the picture here, just ramming some pieces of wood, to stop the water coming out. What does it mean, in fact, in actual terms? It means that our non-revenue water will keep climbing. It's a passive approach. We do nothing, or we do a little bit, and then it carries on, and it goes to a point where, in fact, for us, it will be a dead end. It will not lead to anywhere but to failure of our network. So we enter into a vicious non-revenue water cycle, and you can see this cycle taking place by starting with inefficient operations like we've seen in the pictures. We're not responding efficiently and effectively to the needs of the network in order to maintain that network in good shape and to have the level of service to the customers that is required. And after all, utilities, they should have one thing in mind: to deliver the right service to the customer. That's our client, the customer. Therefore, it's poor service, the customers are dissatisfied, and they're not willing to pay in most cases. Therefore, we don't have the means, the funds, the finances in order to invest back into our system, and the non-revenue water increases. So this is the vicious non-revenue water cycle. We want to turn that around. We want to move the other way, and in fact to reduce that, which will bring more revenues to the utility. We've seen in the presentation, the last presentation, in the previous session in this room, that reducing the non-revenue water, pressure management, active leakage control, it brings money into the utility. So we need that, so that we need to bring this into the opposite way for the cycle, so that at the end of the day we will manage our network efficiently. But the challenge is, how do we do this? How easy or how difficult it is to do this? So moving away from business as usual, it must have a structured approach, and we can eat away on small things, but we will never reach the targets. So we need to have an immediate intervention and reduce the high leakage into a lower value. And then once we have low values of NRW, then we can manage those at an economic level of non-revenue water. Again, I'm referring to a slide earlier on, if you were in this room, that it had these issues as well. So non-revenue water management strategy, and we need a long-term plan. We cannot manage NRW in a piecemeal fashion. So, non-revenue water, it's central to the utilities operation, and I believe is the cornerstone of good operational management for a utility. And we can see that in order to do this, this water balance, we've been at it, and as the previous speaker said, many of these issues have been around for the last 20 years. The water balance is one of them. I think it's almost 20 years now that we're referring to this particular water balance. But what should be clear to us is that we have three elements of non-revenue water: unbilled consumption, commercial and physical losses. A reduction in unbilled consumption, it has to correspond to an increase in the bill consumption. So you reduce one, you increase the other. Similarly, with commercial losses, we reduce the commercial losses, we have to have the corresponding increase in the bill consumption. And ultimately, our revenue water will be increasing. However, when we come to physical losses, there we reduce the physical losses, we reduce the leakage from our network, then we can have, main thing is our system input volume will reduce. In case we are in need of that water, then we provide it to customers, in which case our bill consumption will increase. As you can see from here, and I want to stress, the centrality of the water loss management, it's in the center of all other operations, starting from operations and maintenance, all the way across to pressure management, to pricing, to modeling, etc. So the non-revenue water is in the center of all this. Tackling non-revenue water, inevitably, at some point or other, one would tackle these particular areas as well. So non-revenue water, again, the key message, as we said earlier on with the water balance, unbilled authorized consumption and commercial losses linked to extra revenues for the utility. Physical losses linked to reduction in the system input, reduction to cost, unless we sell that water. So that is the key message that it comes across. So what are the key challenges for the way forward? And from my experience, in this region generally, in utilities that I have visited, over the years, I have put down some of the main challenges that we are facing, in the MENA region. I'm sure that you can think of more of this, but these I believe are the main ones. Intermediate water supply, this we have covered in a presentation earlier today, and it's a major issue. And it really, it's a hindrance to applying good operational management. But coupled to that, we also have high non-revenue water. And we've seen it in a number of presentations today that, yes, our utilities do have high non-revenue water. In some cases, we don't know whether it's, or how much is commercial, how much is physical, but the fact remains that our figures, are very high. Lack of proper maintenance. We don't really apply proper maintenance, and we've seen again today in some of the presentations good ways of managing our assets and of managing the maintenance in a proactive manner rather than being reactive. Utilities usually react rather than be proactive to the problem. So these are again issues that we need to look for and solve. But a major issue faced by most utilities is the finances for capital expenditure. Although they are willing to do things, however, they don't have the financial capability. And what I have found over the years, IFIs and other financing and other institutions that are willing to lend, they want the utility to have a plan, to know where it's going, to know what return they will get, from the actions that they will put in place.
RSS is one of our strongest
non-revenue water strategic planning will give you this. We will give you this performance improvement plans so that you can
on similar research,
forward.
And we hope to learn from this.
In addition to all this, if we move, to the commercial aspect,
this is an excellent example of the kind of work that the network wants to support in
we
Jordan
don't
and
have,
other countries in the Middle East.
accurate
ولغاية تعميم الفائدة رتبت زيارات ميدانية لسيدات من المنطقة ولطلاب وطالبات المدارس لإطلاعهم على معضلات المياه في الأردن والحلول المطروحة من خلال هذا المشروع.
We have the know-how now to do this, and how often to collect data, and how much data to collect, and when to collect it, and how to evaluate. So we do have nowadays the way of actually managing this. Poor metering, data handling, unsatisfactory collection, that's another issue that we have. But for us, it's also an issue because we don't have the right procedures and protocols in place. You can see in this particular situation, it may not be clear on your picture, but where I'm pointing with the arrow, the bill was left. The meter reader went, read the bill, didn't find anyone there, just put it behind the meter. And it so happened that, you know, we were passing by with some members of the utility, and we looked at this particular one, and this is the bill left there. So some procedures need to be put in place which are reliable, and we know that the customers, you know, will respond to those. Now,
Mr. Bambos, 3 minutes, please. Just
2 minutes.
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay. Thank you very much. Driving change. We need, obviously, the management to take charge of this and inspire. We need, you know, to understand the problem, accept the challenge, and go for it. And of course, we need to have the supporting elements underneath once we have this strategy. And this doesn't include only the employees, but includes the environment, the general environment, the customers, and everyone needs to be informed of the objectives and the targets that we need to reach. Key message: a successful change usually is pinned on strong leadership. But in utilities, you know, we don't want the situation where the strong leadership leaves and everything goes with it. We have to find a way of anchoring good results within the utility and to stay on. So procedures, protocols, capacity building, the personnel in general are key to all this. And of course, I will not go in detail to this, but be aware, accounting for all water, measurement. We need to have measurements, otherwise we cannot guess, you know, what is happening in our network. Measurement everywhere. Supply, distribution gives us an equitable way of charging our clients as well, rather than on a flat tariff, irrespective of what the usage will be by the customers. Good network management, I will not go into it. We've seen it, we know it. Pressure management, active leakage control, response time to repairing leaks, etc. And of course, good commercial management, good metering, billing system, and collection. Our relationship with the customers must be there, so they have to know what we're doing, and we have to respond to them as efficiently, as effectively as possible. These specifics of NRW will be faced every day. What do we do first? Do we repair, do we replace, and things like this? Only with proper NRW management and strategic planning, you will be able to give answers to all these questions. What comes first? Again, I'm repeating myself, but there were some elements of this in the presentations in the previous session. What do I do first? What I get most return for the least cost. This is the most important aspect. And 3 successful levels. Do the obvious. That's the first thing. The obvious, that it doesn't take any money to do it. Second level, drive the system into an improved level. And the third is maintain it at that level. So obvious, drive the system to another level, improved level, and do the obvious. And with this, I thank you, and I hope I'm within time.
You made it. Thank you very much. Our third speaker is Engineer Akram Nassar. Engineer Akram Nassar is the General Manager for Water Supply and Sewerage Authority in Beit Lahem since 2012, and he represents the same in the Global Water Operators Partnership Alliances. He's a mechanical engineer, and before joining Beit Lahem Authority, he worked in oil and gas industry in Qatar. Engineer Nassar, thank you.
Yeah. في شيء أيوة طبعا. Good evening, everybody. In this session, we would like to